Right guys, back here for part 2 on monks, and I made the effort to get here early today for the first time. Actually the first time probably in the last 10 weeks I've got to the lake before 7 o'clock in the morning. And literally just a second before I flicked the camera on, I've seen a big show straight over my right hand rod. A big fish, maybe upper 30, maybe low 40, and there you just see a little tail slap again. That was a different fish. So my plan's working. So I've had the rods in probably 2 hours now. Put a bit of bait, finished baiting up about an hour ago, and I wanted to get here early today. It looked good for a bite, sort of early afternoon, late morning. Bright blue skies this morning when I got here. It was really hot, and look what's happened. The clouds have finally drifted over, which I was hoping would happen, and it's looking good for bites. So it feels good to be back, part 2 on monks. Hopefully I'm going to get a few more of these big gals to show you. There's some really nice looking fish in here. There's obviously a few ugly simmos along the way, but there are some real nice dark black fish in here too. You can't really see out there, but it's full of weed, like 12-foot tall weed. You've got Carp, Canadian, you've got various other strains of weed, blanket weed, you've got it all out there. There's everything here. So it's not going to be easy. It's definitely got a bit trickier over the last few months while I've not been here. But then saying that, I always think August is the trickiest month of the year anyhow. I sort of always think it's the month in between everything. And they're usually sunning themselves, moping about. A few of the big girls have been caught early in the year, they're drowning in the sorrows. Not really feeding too much either. Getting ready for the big feed for October, September time. And also another thing, I'd probably say the naturals are at their highest point in most lakes in August. I think there's just plenty of naturals for them to root about on. Try and lay off the boilies a bit for a little while, because they all carp get a bit sick of boilies at times. It feels good, looks promising. That's the main thing. Had that lovely 33-pound mirror last week. Can't ask for a better start than that, can I? Also had a small 20 as well, which I didn't actually record. The fish are finally putting their weight back on in here now, which is good. That's why I left it. I pulled off, tried to give them a chance to put a bit back on. Silly little moorhen just caught my line. So I had a bit of a rig change from last week. I've changed all 3 rigs over to a rig pattern I haven't actually fished for 2 years, to be honest. I just never got back round to fishing it. It's the KD rig. Everyone knows what a KD rig is. I was using it for 2 years, maybe a few years ago, creaming it on certain lakes, and then I just felt like it fished itself out. Stopped getting as many bites. I started fishing a lot more bits and pieces and particles. I just felt like it weren't really the rig for the job. Coming on here, I think these fish feed with a little bit less caution than other fish, so they suck and blow harder on the spots. So I put all 3 out. I've just gone for it. Put all 3 out on the KD rig, and I've got it perfectly set. Baits and fishing are really super buoyant, so I just felt with the rig ring on I weren't getting the right presentation when the carp suck it in. I think they were sucking it in easy enough, but the hook point weren't turning fast enough. So at least with the KD rig I can put these buoyant baits out there and leave them out there, and I know that hook's always going to be hanging low. It should always snare them, hopefully. Looks good though, look, the wind's pushing through nicely now. It's cooled down about 3 degrees in the last half an hour as well, which is pretty nice. Everything's going to plan, what can I say? Mind you, saying that, I already know there's going to be no pushover this session. I already know it's not going to be a big hit session. You can have a few good hits on monks, like maybe 4 or 5 fish sessions, but I can already feel it's not going to be one of them sessions. I think it's going to be sort of one trying to just fish as hard as I can for a bite at a time. And I think if I go away with 2 or 3 bites, I'd be a very happy man. And that's the main thing. And I'll also say another thing, when I come to these new lakes, obviously I haven't really fished monks much. It's only like my 8th session on here. It's the 2nd session on record. So I've done 6 sessions earlier in the year just to get to know the place. I start off, when I get to a new lake, I start off by thinking, where can I get bites? I'm just looking to get bites, just a bit of confidence. And so I'm just trying to think, where will they be? Just try and get a few easy bites. I'm not too worried about the size of the fish. I'll take low 20s. And then after a little while, once you've conquered that quest on a new lake, you start thinking, where do the big gals live? What do the big gals want to eat? And that's when you start scratching your head, and people say, oh, you can't pick the size of your fish you catch. So yeah, sometimes you can't. But if you look at my track record of how many big fish I've had over the years, I'm up to about 18 UK 40s now. That's not by chance, is it? You know, I generally think I pick the bigger gals out. I'm a hard thinker. And you just got to think, where are they? Where do the big gals want to eat? What do they want to eat? Where do they feel comfortable eating it? So I'm in a peg called the Grassy, because it's the weediest peg on the lake and no one fishes it. So I jumped in here just mainly because I want to fish on my own bait and no one else's. There's a few people on there using shit bait and I'm just not down for that. So I picked a peg that no one fishes, just period. It's just so weedy out there. But what they don't know is I've been here and raked out. I've spent about 8 to 10 hours raking it out there. Right out there where that coot is. Can you see that coot out there? Right out there. So I've raked a lot of weed out there, probably the size of a minibus I brought in, just so I can pull the fish through it a little better and get better line lay. Now I've got my line lay perfect, I think I can snare a big gal. There's no leads out there. Basically this peg's not very peggy. When you go to other pegs like double point, plateau and little point and stuff like that, when you're actually leading out there with a naked lead, you're pulling it back, all you feel is bang, 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 bang. You're actually hitting dead leads that have been dropped over the years, thousands of them, all on the same spots. And I just don't get down like that. I can't fish like that. So I've come here, I've made my own spots. I've got the carp to clean them to a certain extent. They were so silty they were unfishable to start with. Literally your lead would just plunge through a foot of seal and your rig wouldn't be showing. So I feel like if any fish I get from here on out, I feel like I've really earned. New spots, no leads out there, just my leads, my bait, my rigs, my hard work, and we'll see if it pays off. It's looking really good for a bite. The wind's just pushing down the lake beautifully. The fish have been held up the other end now for the last 3 weeks in the deeper water. I've decided to just stick with this peg for a little bit longer as I put so much work into it. It's about 10 foot out there. I feel it's a good depth for this time of year. Still get the odd day bite in 10 foot, I think. So I'm feeling confident. Let's see if the game plan comes together. I've put a lot of thought into it. I haven't just randomly jumped into a peg and said, oh, I'm going to have it here. So I put a lot of thought behind what I've done. And we'll see whether it pays off. So I'm absolutely wasted now and knackered. I was out for my mate's birthday Saturday night, recovering yesterday. I'm here early in the morning now, so I'm going to get some sleep for an hour or two. The traps are set. I put 5 litres of bait out over 3 rods on 2 different spots. And for now I'm going to get my nut down, get a bit of shut eye, and maybe get awoken by a screaming run, who knows. But I'm going to keep you updated anyway. So it's part 2. Got another, I think I'm on here for about 8 weeks now. So hopefully long enough to get that big gal, that porky. That should be about £50 now. All the fish in here are a bit underweight, but who cares? As long as they look pretty in the dark, I'm a happy bunny. Right, I'll speak to you soon. Cow pig feed Jessica Rabbit round 2. Oh, little Jessica Rabbit, she's holding her own. Cow pig's the big gal, Merce, otherwise known as AKA Mercy, and the little brown one, Jessica, and we call her Jessica Rabbit because she looks like a little rabbit. Oh, they're going for it. This is all play, by the way. There's no. This is mum and daughter. There's nothing vicious going on here. It's just pure English bulldog play. Bulldogs head fight. That's how they fight. It's all headbutts and head wrestling. It's brilliant. Look at her. Mercy. See the little paws in the air and that. Quite funny to see. Really, I think she's actually just trying to train her how to fight, to defend herself against the other dogs. And they're gone. Right, last night I didn't bother updating anyone because a friend come down, had a little bit of a social, and pretty much knew nothing was going to happen. So I've hung around today in the same peg that I showed you I was in yesterday, and nothing's happened, so I'm moving. I'm not hanging about. I'm just going to leave the bait. They're clearly not here, not in the numbers that I want them in. I haven't seen anything big either. So after last night and putting all that bait in out there and finding all these spots and raking them out and all that lot, I'm just going to leave it all behind, get on the move. I've already found a peg that I'm in. I've just been down and dropped a bucket in it and had a little lead out and found some spots. So I'm gone. Just going to finish packing up all the luggage and I'm outie. So when I next see ya, I'll be in No Carp Corner. Right, well I finally moved pegs. I'm up the other end of the lake now. We're in the deeper water. Just put about 5 spombs out. I'm going to put a few more out. It's a long range cast. So it's a bit tricky. I know it's longer than most people can cast. Probably maybe 1 or 2 anglers can make this cast on monks at the minute, member wise, other than myself. So my spot should be pretty safe from other people, but I'm going to get a bit more bait up there and you'll see just how far it is yourselves. that's that spot done. Got a sig out on the middle rod, it's going to stay out all night. And just a right hand rod to do, which is even further, so I'm just going to have a go now. Just quickly see whether I can even hit that range. I haven't really fished at that range before, but we'll soon find out anyway. And I'll give you an update shortly. Right, so I turned the camera off quickly because I didn't want to embarrass myself, but I just made the cast with a spom, and first time I managed to hit the clip, which is pretty unbelievable. I'm surprised myself. So just watch on this cast here, and just watch how I compress this rod into sending this beautiful little pink spom out miles. So I'll give you a little clue. I'm fishing over 350 feet out, and I'm compressing that with this free spirit rod, spom rod, and this little spom's doing the job. And then I've got to try and stick a lead on it. We'll see what happens. That was bang on. Which goes to show, fishing over 350 feet out there. See the oil slick coming up behind me. See the oil slick coming up. It's a long way out. I haven't missed a clip yet, surprisingly enough. Yeah, I suppose just don't ever underestimate what you can do. Long range fishing takes extreme practice and extreme strength and technique. If you work at it, there's nothing you can't conquer. And by me getting out that far, I'm sure that might pinch me a bite tonight. I know that my spot's safe from anyone else coming in behind me. Give you a quick update a bit later on this evening when I've got all the rods sorted, and we'll have a chat then. Right, I'm going to attempt to get that long rod out now, that extreme range rod that I spoke about a little while back. You see me put a few spoms out long. I could just about get the spom out there, just. It's really at the edge of my range. Thinking about it now, it's actually further than I've ever fished. I've never fished that far out before, so it's taking range to another level, and I'm going to try and get a rod out on it now, and it should be fun. So if anyone says, oh, Gareth Compton is just a lucky angler, he catches all these 40s, he's just lucky, this and that, when you see this go out and you see how far it sails out, you realise there's no luck involved. Okay, you probably won't even see it hit the water on the camera, it's that far out, but fingers crossed, and I'll hopefully get it first time. New seeds. you go, a range I've never fished before, and coming off Swan is saying a lot because it's a long range water at certain pegs, real long range, so it says a lot. You just witnessed it first time, boom, bang on the spot. So I'm happy with that. And a lot of people can practice their life and not be able to cast that far. So I'm over the moon and we'll see what happens. As you can see, my foot is stuck in cow pig's mouth. She's trying to maul my foot. She's got a foot fetish. She will literally suck on your feet and eat your flip-flops. Ah! She's got my toe down, big toe, for hours. She's a strange little creature. Started off when she was about 4 months old, and she's just been obsessed with feet ever since. Don't know anyone else who's got British Bulldogs, whether theirs are too, but this one definitely is. Ah! I've got a mouth pin now. Bad cow pig. Take my foot out your mouth. So we're ending the last night now, and it feels much better down this end of the lake. I feel confident of a big girl as well. I think if it happens, it's going to be a big fish. So it's cooling off now, the sun's just setting. It's 5 to 8 at night, so the old nights are drawing in pretty fast. It'll soon be dark early. But we're here on Monks, trying to get amongst some of the big girls. I don't know whether the camera can pick this up from there. The old traps are set. Got different lines on each reel just to cater for the different distances that I'm fishing. For those of you who have seen Carp magazine, my interview in there, so 5 or 6 weeks ago now I guess, I had a 4-page interview on there, and I got onto lines and how important it is to have so many spare spools, which I've got 12 spools in total, just to make sure I can cater for every occasion possible. Obviously I don't use bait boats. Those of you who know me know I don't use bait boats, so not for anything. I think if I can't cast there, I don't think I should have a rig there. It's just my opinion. I've got mates that use them, it's just not for me. I have used them in the past, years ago, but I much prefer the satisfaction of, you know, feeling the lead down and the bite. The bite's so much more of a reward when you cast it. You know, I even like to spom it out rather than boat. It's just personal reference. While we're on that subject, on Monks here now actually, I'd probably say 90% of people use bait boats on here. I can't believe how many anglers have got a bait boat. It's mental. So I'm up against it because obviously they can just be all stealthy and drop a nice little neat pile here and there without disturbing anything, but I'm going to do it the good old traditional way. The spod, the cast, the back, the legs, get it all involved, chuck it out long. Just pump it out there. So as long as you've got spare spools, all sorts of lines on for different distances, you'll be able to get out where I am in no man's land, where no one can reach. It's a pretty good feeling knowing that pretty much maybe one other angler can reach that distance on this lake. Brill. But, you know, the bait boats, they can go out as far as they like, can't they? So, you know, each to their own. I let everyone else use their boats, and when I get porky, I'm sure it'll feel a little bit more rewarding. Porky's the biggest fish in this lake. She sort of flickers about 50 pound and just under or just over. I should imagine she's about bang on 50 right now, I should imagine. So by far the biggest fish in the lake. It'd be nice to get it on the bank early. Part 2, imagine that, tomorrow morning, porky in the net, in just part 2. How would that be, eh? Talk about creaming it, after last week's 33. You never know, I found some nice spots earlier, got the bait on it. People, I'll leave you with that and I'll update you if I have anything. Yes guys, the move's paid off. Last night left and I got a good fish. This first light at the minute, just hit 6 o'clock and I'm opening my second fish of the night. Well, this one come in the morning, about half an hour ago. The other one come at about 1 o'clock in the morning. Let's go have a little look at her. I haven't seen her yet. Oh wow, nice fish. Really nice fish. Move's paid off clearly. Didn't feel right down that other end. Her head's so black. Such a black fish. And there you go. Monk's mirror. Happy days, eh? Look at that. For a stunner. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Right, I'm going to slip her back guys, and I've already took my still shots. I'll slip her back and we've still got time for another bite. We've still got all morning and yeah, as long as we're going for about 11:30 in the morning we'll be all good. Alright, I'll speak to you soon. Right guys, so I've got about an hour to go and just having a little clear up, and look what I found in my net. Bloody snake. Can you believe it? So if it's got a yellow head, what does that mean? Is it an adder? No, adder's purple. I think it's a grass snake actually. Oh, and there it goes, it's out the hole. Look, off you go. Back to the wild. All sorts of nature around you, and you don't even know it. Oh, let's have a little sit down. So guys, sorry about the video earlier, cut off a little bit when I had that fish. Battery went dead, so I had to put a new one in. But, a very nice fish to say the least, £28, nothing to grumble at. Biggest fish of the session, by far. So very nice, I'm a happy man. After getting that lovely 33 in week 1. Here we are on part 2 and I've had a 28. Things are just starting to hop. I'm just starting to figure the place out again now. It's a bit of a tricky one, this Monks at times. As all the carp generally shoal together. It'd be nice if they're off doing their own thing in groups of 2s and 3s and stuff, but a lot of them are over there in the swamp, just dead in front. I don't know if you can really see because of the glare. But there you go. Well, make sure you come back in part 3 to join me here on Monks and see if we can get into a few of the bigger girls. For now, I'll see you in a bit.